Welcome to the show, where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show, if you don't know, it's part of the show. Didn't they teach you to reach for the stars while opening up the bars and keeping you chained down with mortgage bills and cars? Vaccines for your arms, kids sounding like supercharged, caffeinated hate-filled scars and rage-quit repertoires. No answers for yards, caught up in emotion that's not even yours. Imposter truths like impeccable retards, lined up for your serving of Gish Gallop and wars. No remedy can save the lost, in love with the yarn. I'm tired of walking into refracted shards, poor science displayed by disgusting bards. Soaked in sin with your dupe is delight in a new hand of cards. Been so long, seems like for love I'm just too hard, I'm just too hard, that's it. Welcome to the show, where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show, if you don't know, you don't know. Intoxicated 8 makes you believe you're spinning in space, while you have no shame or grace. It's a disdainful state I used to contemplate, how to save myself from my own self-hate. Wonder why I was even made with a dreadful fate, forced to try and awake with a full plate, no one to help me stay awake or educate. I've had to liberate and fight through hidden gates, but my brother, heaven could never be late, and rockets don't work in space. It's all fake, the show is on Mars, it's a joke, but you're too far gone, it won't be long. Fepe's beak is strong. We have our song and we march along like streams of knowledge leading to God's holy pond, and lives of truth that hits the bong and sings the song, turns mankind from the wrong. We come in peace with a holy gown, and all of us wearing our holy crowns. Said the earth is flat and we probably just won't get along, just to go along. I said, welcome to the show, where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show, if you don't know, you don't know.
Guys, if you guys remember a couple of shows ago, I described it like how the heliocentric model is nothing but a way they use to conquer more lands and the people subjugate them to Rome. Okay, it's not about science. It was about conquering these people, deem them like stupid, you know, and by inverting and showing all this stuff. So it's all about control. It's not about truth. It's about control. So this guy, he was interviewed. Was during the pandemic, and you can have that exactly to the whole cosmology and the heliocentric model, because they say, oh, flat earthers don't like science, all of this stuff. But this science they offer is the falsely so-called science that the Bible has it. It's all about controlling our minds, you know. That's why we live, just like in the beginning, we played that song, Welcome to the Show. because we live in a simulated reality. The whole thing is a simulation. But listen to what this guy has to say here.
Truth was never the highest priority of human society. It was the highest priority of some individuals, but never of society as a whole, because society as a whole does not function on the basis of truth. And let's think about science and the scientific community. I think that none of them has truth as their chief value. I think the chief value of science is power, and science is mainly about gaining power over the world. They use truth to some extent on the way to achieving power, but this is not their highest value.
Say more a bit about power. What do you mean?
I think science as an institution is interested in gaining the power, to gain control over the world. It all comes down to money in many cases. In order to have an institution, if you're a freelance scientist, you just explore the truth, okay. But as an institution, at the university, you need money to finance. So you submit a research grant, and you have to convince the authority not of the truth. You have to convince the authorities that what you want to do will somehow make us more powerful, will somehow enable us to produce a new weapon. Mm-hmm. And this is really what gets the money. I mean, the first breakthrough scientific discipline that launched the scientific revolution, according to my understanding, was geography. It was all these sailors and all these explorers leaving Europe in the 14th and 15th century, and in the 15th and 16th century, and exploring the world and mapping it. This is the first big scientific project to map the world. I mean, people often speak about astronomy and, Copernicus and Galileo and so forth, but this was really a side issue. The big thing was geography and was exploring the world. This is where the big money went to. And the reason the big money went there is because the kings of Spain and Portugal and France and so forth, and the bankers in Genoa and Venice, they thought that mapping the world was the first step to conquering it.
All right, guys. So this is the science they spread all over the world. Is you really submit or you die. So many examples I have. If you guys have been watching my videos, China. Look at what happened to China. They rejected the heliocentric model in the 1700s, and they rejected. And then what happened to them? All the Jesuits and the freemasons, they provoked wars. They provoked all the division, and China was destroyed from all those wars. So finally, in 1903, it's quite recent, they had to adopt the heliocentric model. 1903, that's when they did. In Japan, same thing. They didn't want anything to do with the Jesuits. They expelled them from here. So what happened in 1865? They came back with guns, ships. Commodore Perry bombed 2 cities here in Japan, right, to get in here. Once they got it, what did they do? The first thing was to go to temples, the Buddhist temples, and destroy the physical flat earth model they had on display. All the temples, not like one temple, no, all the temples here had the physical flat earth model, and they destroyed them. There are only 5 that survived, and they are still being kept away today, And so this is what's going on. It's all about power and domination. It's nothing about science and truth. It's all about domination. So the heliocentric model is dominating the mind. And once you are caged in this system, you think, oh, there's nothing more to explore. There's no truth. The science is everything, evolution, all that stuff, Darwinism. And that's what it is, right? And as I agree, this guy who was talking, he is, let's say that he's not a Gentile. So there is a lot of things there, because my idea, if you go to the book of Acts, when the Lord and God directed the apostle to go to the Gentiles, you know, and the other guys, they were jealous and they tried to, uh, there's a word for that, to sabotage the whole thing, you know, and they still do that today. You know, that's a way for us not to get to know the true Creator and His Son. You know, it's a spiritual war. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a spiritual war.